Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. Musky Talk Mondays, episode 10. Awesome. Cool. We got Joel, and we're going to shoot the shit for an hour about muskies. And I'm really happy. Very excited. Very, very excited. So, without further ado, let's bring in the man himself. Joel, you there, bud?
I am, sir. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Good.
So how's it been? What's new in, the smoky scene and all that?
Yeah, the smoky scene's okay. Everything's calmed down after the gazebo got ripped down, and things are kind of back to normal a little bit.
Are there plans to like maybe do another one, or get the permits or any of that stuff?
Not anything like that yet.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna probably just let it lay for a while and see how things go here the rest of this year and see where we can start up again next year.
Ugh, it's sad. Stupid politics.
That it is. That it is.
But other than that sad news, any good news happening down there?
As far as, I'm sorry?
I said besides that bad news, how else are things going down there?
No, things are going good. The shop's doing really well. Even with the slow no wake on the lake, it's still holding its own. It's been not a banner year, but pretty steady as far as business goes, and a lot of people coming out and fishing, even with the higher boat traffic that we've had this year, as far as the speed boats and jet skis and all that stuff.
Now, I think I've only been out there a couple times. Has it been pretty bad this year?
It's got its moments. I mean, there are times, obviously, that it's worse than other times.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some really idiots out there, that's for sure. And a lot of fishermen have kind of stayed away from stuff, and during those times. But it's been a good year. It hasn't been lights out as far as fishing, but there's a lot of fish getting caught. And really there still is no rhyme or reason to any kind of real patterns. Trolling is okay. It's not great.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some reports of some successes. Casting, see a lot of fish, getting them to commit.
Another story.
It has been an issue.
Yeah.
Fishing deeper has actually been working pretty good.
What are the water temps out there right now currently?
Last I saw was 75. I think with all the rain that we had, it's probably come down a little bit. It's been kind of cool the last couple of days, and then now we got a hot streak coming up. I think starting Wednesday, through the weekend, it's supposed to get a lot hotter. Dew points get higher, but we do have some more rain coming too. So
that's good.
I'm thinking the slow no wake is going to be imposed for the foreseeable future.
Okay. So, guys, if you're not familiar of like what lake me and Dave are talking about, Pewaukee Lake, southeastern Wisconsin, Walczak County, that's kind of the focus of today's episode. Just so people are like, what lake are they talking about? So, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's fine. That's Pewaukee Lake. Most of the southeastern Wisconsin lakes have you pretty much have the slow no wakes on them.
Yeah.
I don't know of any really that don't have something on them.
Actually, I was out on Nagawicca. I had a half day that I can go fishing. I went bass fishing, actually, and they didn't have a no wake out there, actually.
What day was it?
I'm pretty sure it was after the rains, because I was talking to Mike at Dick Smith's, and he was like, yeah, they got the no wake out on Pewaukee and Okachi.
Okay.
So.
That's all right. That's nice to know for the guys that like bass fishing or bike fishing.
Yeah, go there for some walleyes. But
yeah.
So there's no wake over there.
Not good.
So business for yourself and clients and fish caught this season. How's that been going?
It's been going pretty good. I've been booked for most of the year. I've finally had a break here the last couple of weeks. Normally it's hot this time of year, and I start bass fishing more, or I got some trips coming up north pretty quick. So we kind of tone it down here. So with it being nicer, I've been trying to get out and do some taping. With the Rocky Point stuff, we got a new lure that's coming out. So we've been running that, doing some taping with some other stuff. Yeah, working on some video stuff.
I forgot that guy's name that you introduced me at the boat launch. Does he have anything to do with that?
Sam Ubel. No, he doesn't.
Okay, who are you filming?
That's Sam Ubel.
Who are you filming with? What you doing?
Well, we actually have a new lure that we're going to be coming out with. I know I sent you a couple pictures of the stuff.
Yes.
It's actually called the Rocky Point Rage.
So if you want to give me a second, Joel, I will pull it up. So, all right, guys, this is it. Joel makes these spinner blades attachments for bulldogs. If you want to go over that and then introduce the bait. So this one is the hairpin style one that I'm showing right quick.
This is the Rocky Point Rage. This is a brand new lure. It will be available September 1st at Smokies.
Okay.
It's basically a jig head that I had Cast Industries mold for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our own little touches on it and changed some things from a normal jig head. The head itself is 4 ounces, and we just build a bucktail behind it.
Okay.
We instead of having the little wire loop on the top, we got it coming out the nose a certain way so that I can actually put on the spinner blade attachments real quick or change it right into a double-bladed bucktail, either 8s, 10s. We're running some 6200 wire for the attachments for these, just because of the weight. And we're working on getting some 12 blades also with the stuff.
Okay, so that's the hairpin style, guys. And this one is the bucktail, double, not hairpin style, normal, traditional bucktail style.
Right.
And
they run pretty smooth. With what we've been doing with them this year, we got actually 2 pike on them. I haven't run them that much because I only got 3 prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying some different stuff. I got the whole order coming sometime this week here.
Okay.
So we can get them ready for September. But they run, the lure itself weighs 6.1 ounces. With the spinner blade attachment on, it's 7.1 ounces. And with the double 10s on it, it's 7.7 ounces. And you might think it's a lot. Some of the Bondies are 7 ounces. The Pegasus are I think 6.5 or 7 ounces. And so it's right in that wheelhouse, but it casts really nice, and it comes in really smooth. It actually drops 3 feet a second, and it runs true to the depth that you start reeling it at, almost like a suspended lure. And it stays down till it's almost below the boat when she finally starts coming up. We've had some action on it, brought in a couple of fish, and then so we got a couple of pike on them. And we've been running it also with, if I have one client in the boat, I've been throwing it in the back when we go out and we jig.
Yeah.
And we've actually, I don't know if the lure's bringing them in or the guy's actually, attracting the fish with the Pegasus that I use. But, we're working at tandem like that with jigs. I love bottom fishing. I love fishing deep. And, it's a whole new world. If you've never jigged, everybody's got their own twist on it. Some guys are down in the pods. They're right at the bottom coming up through. I like to go down to the bottom because my feeling is there's a whole lot more fish down there just laying on the bottom than there is sitting around. And you can watch the stuff on your depth finder too. I mean, you can see the fish coming up when you're jigging.
Oh yeah.
If you tune it right. And to me, it's an untapped area that, number one, you put a spinnerbait down there and keep it there. Number two, you put a bucktail down there and keep it there. There isn't too many baits out there that can actually do that.
No, I myself.
So it's a different world.
I myself have gotten a couple of requests of, can I get double 8s? I'm like, yeah, and then they're like, oh, can you make it weigh 5 ounces? And I'm like, that's sure.
Kind of hard.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than. I mean, the only option that I've came up with was to powder coat egg sinkers and use those instead of beads. But
yeah,
that looks way better than a freaking a powder coated egg sinker.
When you actually see it, I've actually got an egg weight on the back end of it.
You do?
You know, to give it that extra weight. Well, see, what I don't like is when you got a big spinner bait, and you just say a one-piece spinner bait, and you cast it out. How many times does that spinner blade or the arm get wrapped around the leader, or the back end of the hook end of the spinner bait is just too light, and she gets wrapped around the front or caught up with the leader.
It happens.
I like the butt end leading the bait out, so I want the back end. So I make my bucktails a little back end heavier than the tip, even if it runs a little bit lower than the blades in the water. I'm okay with that. But when you cast it, it just goes. It doesn't sit there and flail in the air and get all caught up and stuff.
Just cast like a bullet.
It's pretty much more like a cannonball. It's pretty big.
That is a big bait.
So like I said, it doesn't throw or retrieve like a real 7.5 ounce bait. It's really smooth. And my business partner Justin Johnson has been helping me with some of the designs and the stuff, and I got to credit him with a lot of it, because I mean, coming up with something like this, we've been working on this bait for over 2 years.
I believe it.
Trying to get it right was a huge thing with the weighting. And, you know, to put something out there, and it's not that I'm ever going to get rich selling baits, but, you know, more and more you're seeing basement bait builders coming out where they've got something that people kind of like.
Yes.
You know, and it's not that they're going to get rich, like I said, but, you know, everybody should have their tiny little piece of the pie or little part of the puzzle in the stuff. If you got something that's interesting, you know what, man? Try it. You never spend a couple $100 making some baits, you know. Go to a show here and there, try some out, go on eBay, you sell stuff. And when I first started making bucktails, 20 years ago, I was selling stuff over in Sweden and Italy, up in Canada.
For the big
pike. You know, people see this stuff and they like the price. You know, keep the price right, where you're not spending $35, $40, $50 on a lure. Not that I don't do that, because I'm just like everybody else. I see a bait that's like that, and I really like it. I'll drop some coin on it.
Yeah,
that's cool. But you know, for the most part, most of the people out there, especially musky fishing, all these people that are, you know, they come into Smokies and they're looking for gear. You know, they've never done it before. If they fished a couple times and went with a guide and they want to get into it, man, you don't have to spend a ton of money.
No,
really. The real stuff you got to work on is the reel and the rod. You get a nice reel that can take the beating, and you get a rod that's got to either can take the beating or it's got a nice warranty with it, that it ain't going to cost you a whole lot to replace if you happen to break it.
Then you
go at it.
Give me my $50 musky rod, $75 musky rod. I'll have that, and just I personally spend in all my fishing more money on the reels than the rod.
Absolutely,
but
it's got to be able to take the big stuff as well as the small stuff.
But that's definitely big. Where your money should be going. You know, starting off and stuff like that. You know, that better have a good setup than a crappy setup with nice baits.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. You know, the blade attachments have gone really well. You know, sitting in the Tackle Industries booth the last couple of years at the shows. This next year we're going to have our own booth. You know, I'm going to run it with. Are
you going to
the Rocket Point stuff?
Are you going to the Milwaukee one or the Waukesha one?
We're going to be at the Waukesha one, and then the Wausau one with the Rocky Point baits, and then the guide service, obviously, and then we'll also. It's pretty cool how they've worked stuff with us. They've given us an extra booth for free to run the veterans camp booth.
That's cool.
So I'll actually be running both of the booths right there and making money for the camp, and then working my stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, I haven't had my own booth in a lot of years, and I don't really pro staff for anybody other than Tackle Industries, or even, you know, helping out John Carlson and Ross's up in Wausau, and you know, it's kind of hard to break away from that, but it's been good to me.
Yeah, why change it if it works?
Yeah, you know, so I'm looking forward to it, really to see what's out there and what the interest is going to be in this stuff. Obviously, not a lot of people like to fish deep. But you have those folks that jig. You have those, take Vermilion, stuff like that. Guys out in St. Clair, casting the big bulldogs and stuff like that, big baits, going deep.
Yeah.
With stuff. This is going to be perfect for that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Or even, some of the local lakes around here. LaBelle is just drop-offs, Oconomowoc.
Absolutely. I mean, even Pewaukee. I mean, I've been fishing in 14, 16 feet of water.
Yep.
Working the right almost on the drops, casting into the weeds and just coming out off the drop-offs to deeper water.
Now,
and like I said, it runs really well.
Now you can actually just straight up jig this pretty much too. I mean,
you could.
I can see this being a great thing for vertical jigging. I mean, it's going to be kind of like those saltwater big spoons. Not saying exactly with the blades, but there's no bait out there that you're jigging a skirt. Okay, like all the plastic.
There's other stuff. You know what? Echo Tails from Vibrations Tag. They got a great bait too.
Yep.
Justin Blanchard's got that's an awesome bait. And a lot of people bypass it, and they shouldn't. A lot of people use it for bass and walleye and the little ice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the musky stuff actually works too. And he's got some stuff with some skirts on also. And
oh, really?
They work. You could even, if you had rubber skirting, you could actually take off the tail and then push the rubber skirting up with it's got the rubber band collar on it. You can push that up the back end and then put the tail right back on, and you got a skirt right on top of it.
Oh.
And there's so many baits out there that you can modify, and it's in the world of a bait is a bait is a bait. There's every bait has got its own little intricacies. It's different somehow. Some run higher, some run lower, some have more torque, some have less torque.
Mm-hmm.
Some have hair, some have skirts, some have different beads, different kinds of blades. But all in all, any bait that you buy, number one, you got to be confident in that bait.
Yes.
Number two, there are so many different applications for baits that are out there. I mean, we used to do this growing up on the Chippewa Flowage up in Hayward when we lived up there. We used to go out and off the deep drops in a big pocket. I'll use Hay Creek as an example out by the humps.
Okay.
We'd take big bucktails, and back then we really didn't have. You hardly saw double tens. I mean, Booker may have had some out that early. I don't know.
Okay.
But you had single blades. You'd count the stuff down all the way, thinking you were close to the bottom because you didn't want to hit bottom and snag a log or something.
Yeah.
But you'd count them down and then start reeling them up. This stuff's been going on for 30 plus years.
Okay.
Where you're trying to get baits trying to fish them deep where baits weren't made to fish that deep. The kind of baits that you were using. Fuzzy Duzzets was really, God, as far back as I can remember, they were really the only baits that you could probably jig that was actually meant for something like that.
No, what were those? I have no idea. I don't believe I've heard of
they're
those.
They're along the lines of the Echo Tails. It's a blade bait that's got a little hole on the top, and you just hook it up, and she vibrates big time. The Echo Tails I think it's got 5 holes in the back, so you can change up the vibration. You can go less all the way up to a whole lot more, to wicked vibration.
Yeah.
A little bit different style, different weighting, stuff like that. But, like I said, you can do that with a whole lot of baits. We used to take the bucktails that we were using and put big, slip shot weights on them and crimp them on wherever we could crimp them on.
Yeah.
And weight them down so that they would actually drop faster.
So you've been fishing deep a long time.
Been fishing deep a long time. Down here, until the floods back in '08, I pretty much stayed on the east end. A lot of guys, there'd be a migration out there where a lot of guys would go west, like they did this year, and I'm kind of looking at, and here's my open playbook for you. When I get back actually going with my outings coming up here in another couple weeks, I'm looking at going east. I'm going to go fish some of the slop, and we got some stuff, Janie's flies, if you know what those are. Janie's an awesome woman. She actually manages, I can't remember the sport shop that she manages up, I think, in Boulder Junction, but she's got her own line of lures called Janie's Flies, and they're basically weedless bucktails.
Yeah.
She's got buzz baits, she's got single blades, double blades, French blades, Colorado blades.
Huh.
They got a rubber tail on, real nice flash of boo, and
Yeah.
they run really nice. We've got a couple fish on them this year, burning them across the top of the thick weeds. So that we get into the summer, what I'm looking at is with the pressure on the lake, and I'm speaking about Pewaukee, and you can equate it to whatever lake that you're fishing on with the boat pressure.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more now than there ever used to be, fishing-wise, and on top of the pleasure boating stuff. But, fishing summertime muskies, I think Booker had hit it right on with the slop muskies. Summertime. Try to figure out what they're doing. You got pressured lakes. Where the fish going to go if you're not seeing them? Either in the thick weeds, it's cooler water, it's less romped on, or they're going really deep. And even out on Pewaukee, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of it. Normally by this time of the year, the pods of bait fish are just schooling together.
Mm-hmm.
You're not seeing that yet. I still say it's sometime behind of the progression that it should be at.
Do you know what
with,
variables
fish really coming
make
together
that happen?
No, I really don't.
You just
I'm not
watch
even
for
going to
it.
try to make something up on that one. It's pretty much what I look for.
Okay.
I know the walleye are schooling together.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that while we're bass fishing. We catch a ton of walleye when we're bass fishing, and you got to credit Walleyes for Tomorrow for that, because before you might find a nice walleye, but you'd never find the walleye.
Okay.
Now over the last couple of years, you put in these fish, and I want to say, if I remember correctly, this is the third year that they're doing it. It might be the second, but
I think it's the third.
Is it? Okay. So you've basically got 7 to 10 inch walleye sitting out there from the first year, probably,
Everywhere.
Maybe a little bigger depending on how they're growing.
Yeah.
And they're schooling together, and there's a whole lot more of mid 20 inch walleye that are getting caught. Mm-hmm. Why is it? It's because they're schooling together. They're starting to move around.
But wait, Joel, I thought the muskies eat all the walleye.
Yeah, well, that could be a whole nother show.
That's
right
a whole
there.
nother show, right?
that could be a whole nother show. Look, growing up in Hayward, I'll tell you, there's the reasons why these people didn't want trolling approved up there. And, talk about the chip, mm-hmm. is because they literally believe that you're going to kill the muskie population, and while you're muskie fishing, you're going to catch a ton of walleye, and that's what they don't want. Trolling 2 lines, or one a person but 2 max. Yeah. You're still not going to eat. I don't care what anybody says. There's guys that hate trolling, mm-hmm. and there's guys that's all they do is troll. It's a tool.
It is.
You use it to your benefit. When you're going from one spot to another, troll if you can't figure something out. Figure it out. Maybe you walk into something and all your questions are answered. And now you're on fish all day long casting. But it's stupid. These guys literally believe that the muskie eat all the stinking walleye. Well, stand at a boat launch one day and listen to the old timers coming in talking about how it's the third time they're out. Yeah. And they leaving it out again. Or look in their live well and see, if there's a slap. See all the undersized or oversized fish that they're keeping.
That you shouldn't be keeping.
And you see it all the time. I see it up in Phillips. Almost every trip that I'm up there, it's they had to change the limit on panfish up there because they were just decimating the crappie population. It was insane.
Now it's 10 a piece of each species, total limit of 25.
You got it.
Yep.
That is exactly right.
We were actually up in Crivets a few weeks ago, and we went on Cauldron. Yeah. We're going to try for some walleyes, but we can't catch fish, so it doesn't matter. So, but we check the signs for the slot limit or the limit, and you're like, I'm pretty sure it's 3 at 18, but no, they got a slot limit up there. And again, with the panfish regulation, the new panfish regulation, I was like, wow, that's really freaking cool.
There was, and they had to fight for it. There were people that actually did not want that to happen, which was kind of sad. But I literally, 2 summers ago, I sat on the dock and I watched this boat out there. And that's how I learned part of the lake system out there, was watching some of the old-timers out there. Mm-hmm. I watched this boat come up to a dock down the shore that had a vacant land, up the hill from the dock, 3 times, and hand a guy a bucket of fish, and the guy that they handed the bucket to gave him an empty one, and they went back out to fish, and then he went up and he drove away. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're on the phone with the bait shop and calling the DNR and saying, look, these guys are just raping the system right now. And this is what they do. They think they're slick and they're not going to get caught. Man, it catches up to you.
You're on Pewaukee,
and
like
that's fine. When you get nailed, doing something like that, and they take your truck and your boat and all your fishing stuff, and you can't fish for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a hit. Why are you even trying to do that? Number one, that's just stupid. Number two, you're killing a lake system. Those lakes bring people into those communities to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Why would you not want it to continue to be a huge fishery? Being able to catch fish like that. Most people are smart. You got some dumb ones that are out there that really screw everything up for everybody.
Yeah.
But wow, did we get off track, didn't we, with that walleye comment?
A little bit, but it's the way it goes, and it always needs to get brought up any chance I can, because it's
that's fine.
It's just one of the things in the musky world that we get blamed for.
Yeah, I know.
But
at least we're not Minnesota.
Very true. Oh boy. So, what have you kind of put a pattern on the muskies yet this year on Pewaukee for summertime, or are they just not?
I've been, like I said, I've been trying. When I go out by myself, I'm usually taping and using my stuff to get some video going and figure some stuff out with that. So I'm pretty in tune with it. Guiding and fishing with other people. I've tried to fish a lot more with friends and new people this year, which has been a goal of mine, to kind of not cut back on guiding, but make time to actually go out and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Guiding sometimes can just become hectic and like it's a job, and I don't ever want it to be like that. Enjoy teaching people, but I also want to enjoy what I'm doing too.
Yeah.
So going out and fishing with people has been pretty cool, but we've actually been on fish. It's once you understand what's going on the lake and figure out some areas that continually hold fish, it can be a really, really cool thing. I've had outings this year where I've had clients, miss 7 fish.
Oh, wow.
And I can't make them hook the fish or keep them hooked or anything like that.
No.
But then there's been the outings where you see 1 fish and it's a giant. And you get a share. The biggest one we've got this year so far is 46.5.
It's not too shabby.
So we've seen. No, he was a beautiful fish. But we've also lost and missed fish that were a lot bigger than that too.
And then
Mike Kep's 52 and 52.5, 52 and a quarter. That was a big fish.
That is a big fish.
It's weird how this lake goes. It's cyclical in nature, in the sense of you'll go through a couple of years where you're seeing a whole lot of small fish, and you'll catch some nice fish. And then there's years like this where there's a lot of big fish that are getting caught, and even the mid to high 30 inchers are fat and beautiful fish. The fishery is back. Pewaukee is one of the most solid fisheries I've ever fished on, and it's consistent in nature. If you know what you're doing, you're on something. You can see a lot of muskie. You can catch a lot of muskie. There's guys out there that have incredible numbers this year, and I won't say their names because I don't want anybody watching them and get blamed for that. But
do you have any numbers though?
That's
roughly?
Kind of a joke. But what's that?
Do you have any numbers for those guys?
I know there's one guy that's pushing 100 fish already this year.
Oh, shit.
And we're just at almost the middle of July. And there's a couple guys that are up in the 70s, and that's great. But they're also spending a lot of time out on the water.
Yep.
We got guys coming from Illinois to fish up here because it blows the fox chain away.
It does. It does.
But as far as the patterns go, I mean, honestly, I've been working weed lines, and I'll tell you, I tell everybody that comes into the shop, same thing.
Yeah.
Work 12 to 14 feet. Somebody cast in towards the weeds, and somebody cast out towards the drop. The South Shore is notorious for that, as far as that nice drop. I mean, you could almost follow 14 feet.
Yes.
And somebody casts in and they're touching weeds, and somebody casting out and they're out over some part of the drop. And there's a lot of fish out there. There's some areas that consistently hold a ton of bait fish. And what I mean by that is, and I see it more when I'm guiding for bass. We'll be on the bass, and say I'm using shiners, which I like to use.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be working a weed line, and all of a sudden, wow, you get into a school of walleye, and then you get a couple of bite-offs. Well, I don't know what that is. It may be musky, it might be northern, but then you've also got the bass that are hitting it. One thing that I've seen this year that's really kind of thrown me for a loop is I'm not seeing a whole lot of smallies in the areas that I've seen them in years past. And I think the reason for that is the walleye. A lot of people don't understand walleye actually love weeds.
Yes.
I mean, growing up in Hayward, I learned that early on, throwing beetle spins in 4 feet of water with thick weed.
They do like weeds.
You're going to catch walleye.
Uh-huh.
And fishing in that 12 feet of water, there's a lot of weeds that are up, 4 or 5 feet from the top. It's pretty much the equation of fishing in 4 feet of water in some respects, but they're thick in there. And I firmly believe that they move some of the musky out, which can make them even more active. But I believe they're moving the smallies out, and I think the smallies are actually deeper. We've caught some smallies out in 20 and 25 feet of water off some drops, and that for me, that's not normal. It might be normal for somebody else, but like I said, I'm seeing a whole lot more largemouth than I am really not even seeing hardly any smallies in that depth of water that I've been fishing for the last several years doing this.
Yeah, so that one day I was at the shop and I'm like, hey, you want to point me in the direction of some smallies? Well, I went there and did what you did to do, and I just caught some walleye and largemouth.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I've been seeing. And it's hard. I mean, I get a full-time job, and then I guide and work the shop and do the lures, and to really get out there and spend 3, 4, 5 days in a row, going and really, really getting on something with the smallies. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably go out and find them. Yeah. But you're going to waste the better part of an outing trying to find the smallies.
Nah. If the client asks,
one day I'll figure it out. But
maybe. But
yeah.
So
not necessarily speaking.
You got any plans, like big things coming up at Smokies, or in your own personal life or guiding career?
Not really. My year's pretty much set, and it's pretty much the same every year. And when we guide through most of the year down here, I spend 5 weeks up in Phillips, and either on vacation. Every vacation I'm up there, some part of it I guide for 2 or 3 days. Mm-hmm. I've actually got a week at the end of October that, if things work out, everything will pretty much be done by then. And I'm planning on spending a week up in Phillips and going out with John Carlson from Ross's for a couple of days. Nice. We never get to fish together.
No.
It's always, when we see each other, we're guiding, or I help them out, with guiding, or we're doing the vets camp, and there's just no time. And it's all about trying to make time to spend with the people that, are important to you, mm-hmm. out on the water, and actually just kicking back and relaxing.
And having some fun with some good old friends.
Yep, absolutely. I think, the lure stuff is a huge thing. Smokies is really become a really cool thing, with being a part of it. and really getting to know the guys at the shop and a lot of the customers that come in.
Fact.
It's really kind of cool. I mean, we got a lot of new stuff. I mean, putting your heads together and coming up with baits to bring into the shop that will sell, and keeping the shop stocked to keep everybody happy is kind of a big thing. You know, we got some new lures over the last couple of years. You know, Angry Dragon, we've talked about them before. They came out with their mini version. It's pretty much a two-piece section instead of a three-piece section. And you know, we've been taking the middle part out for the last couple of years too, to make them smaller, you know, in the spring. But there's actually a contingent of people that actually want the smaller version. And just in talking with them at the shop, the amount of fish that they're actually catching on the dragons is actually pretty good.
It's pretty,
comparably speaking, and they don't talk about it a lot. You know, the guys that talk about it, you know, you hear me talk about it. You know, Adam and Todd, that's a great bait.
It really freaking is, man. I love that thing.
It is. I mean, and not only for Pewaukee, I mean, people are catching fish on these things in Minnesota, up in Canada,
Kentucky.
One guy was down here a couple weeks ago talking about he stocked up on some and says, "Yeah, we love these things; they're great." We actually came down to the Minnesota Musky Expo and or the what do you call it? The Wausau, the Wisconsin Musky Expo, and bought some there and took them back. They work up north. They down here, and that's the universal bait that everybody should be looking for. Something that works on whatever kind of body of water, whether it be shallow, deep, stained, clear, weedy, non-weedy, doesn't matter. You get a bait like that, that's something that everybody should have in their tackle box.
You should. Now, don't ask me about color, because I don't know. You know, choose wisely, but that bait, you need.
You know what? Yeah. I don't even think the color matters. I mean, it matters sometimes, but generally speaking, if you feel comfortable with a color scheme, stick with it and go.
Just get it.
You know, there's a reason why you feel confidence in a bait. It's because it's successful in putting fish in the net. I don't care if it's pink and blue or something like that. If it works for you, throw it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got my birthday muskie last year on a bright pink SS shad.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
pink.
Now I got. Now I got.
There are some old timers up north that throw pink. Whatever that color is that comes up, that pink comes off as in stained water. I don't know.
And it was stained water. It was the Wisconsin River.
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome color for stained water, and not a lot of people actually want to throw it.
No.
Who throws pink? Gee.
Well, they got that every year, at least at the Milwaukee Muskie Expo. I forgot what booth that is, but they have the little tower of pink.
That
you know what I'm talking about?
Ranger Rick and Guide's Choice. I think that's the shop from Eagle River or something like that up there.
And
he's always got a rack of pink baits.
Yep. And that's where I got it from. I think 3-4 years ago. But
cool.
Yeah.
I got my wife a pink top raider from him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
So back to your baits. Enough about TNA. We love you, Todd and Adam, but I'm interested in this because I learned about these probably 6 hours ago.
Yep.
So you're going to have your standard head with your tail. Now, is it going to come with blades, or are you going to be able to customize it right then and there with the ones available?
You can customize it right there.
Okay.
In Smokies, I'll probably have the 6200s blades right next to the baits, and just general colors to go along with it. You know, with me working there, if somebody wants a specific color or something like that, I can always send it to them or bring it out.
Okay.
There's only so much space. I mean, we got a lot of new baits this year. I mean, we just brought the trilogies in.
Yes.
Yeah, we're packed. So coming up with more space for my stuff isn't really feasible.
All right, so I'm just throwing this out there. Now that they tore down the
Yep.
gazebo, I mean, just expand the shop now. I mean, that's the only
Yeah, I
other
wish we could.
alternative. Permits.
I wish we could.
Can't do that stuff.
They won't allow it.
Bah. All right. So
That's why they put that up in the first place. Maybe they had hopes that they could actually just connect the two one day.
I guess not.
Guess not.
Oh well. Now, are you planning in the future? Like, I know this is coming out now. Now, in the future, do you plan on possibly coming out with smaller size heads, or do you want that? Because that's what you're
absolutely
seeking.
a thought. I do have some smaller heads that we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's a whole lot of baits out there that you know, like I said before, a bait is a bait is a bait.
Mm-hmm.
So people think things are copies. Everything's a copy of something at some point.
Of course, it happens.
You know, what I got really isn't different than, I don't know, maybe a hothead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got a big twister tail on it and a head, and it's got a tiny little spinner blade arm on it. You know, everybody's got their own twist and stuff like that. What I like to do, I hate just rushing in and doing something and spending a ton of money, and you know, I want to make sure something works, it's going to sell, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have a problem selling these. There's a lot of people already that have been bugging me about, you know, what do you got? I know it's something that goes deep. I've seen you out there. You know what's going on. Like, give it time. You'll see it. So I'm sure that there'll be a smaller version of it at some point in time. I actually have two other baits that we've been working on for the last couple of years also, and everything pretty much coincides with my spinner blade attachment or the inline attachment.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm looking at to kind of keep the same scenario going. That you know, it's like using the Joe Booker rattlers with the spinner blade attachment. Who would have ever thought about something like that?
Right.
You know, and that's been one of my favorite lures to, you know, for somebody that's never musky fished. If we're fishing shallower, I'll put one of them on for them and have them go at it for a while. I mean, you can catch bass, northern musky. We've gotten some walleye on them, and it's great. You can burn them across the top of the weeds, and you got just massive vibration going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're always thinking, and you know, it's just something to stay involved, something to, you know, continually try to be a part and have something, you know, something out there that you can say, hey, look, you know what? I think Scott Polson said it best the other day when we brought the trilogies into Smokies when he came out with his first order. Was, you know, it's really cool to think that there's guys that are going to be buying this and going out on this lake that I've grown up fishing, and they're going to be catching fish with my bait. That means something.
It does.
You know, that's really, really cool. You know, and you just kind of go with it. I mean, there are a lot of guys that have been basement builders their entire time they've been making baits. You know, they're not looking at getting out into any shops or anything like that. They sell them online and do stuff, but they got really nice baits that catch fish.
They do.
That's really cool, you know, to have that kind of fun and do something that you enjoy, to make something up and actually be able to catch fish and make a little bit of money on it to keep it going.
Yes.
That's the fun part of it. You know, to know that you actually did something and it works.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool stuff.
So maybe in the future you'll get a smaller one in, but we're going to, you know, perfect this, so to speak.
Yep.
First. Okay.
Yep. Make sure we got something that people are going to want to buy.
Color options. How many are going to be coming out September 1st?
We're going to have 6 different color schemes.
Can you name them off?
Basically, it'll be walleye.
Okay.
It'll be black and blue with a little green, black, silver perch, which is one of my favorites. Fire tiger and the rainbow, like in color pictured on the screen.
Okay, that's the rainbow one. Okay.
I love that color scheme.
I like
whatever
that too.
it is, I mean, it's great. I love that rainbow.
But it's not too much. I don't think.
No.
It blends it together really well. all those different colors.
Yeah, it does.
Which is
Yeah,
nice.
it definitely does. The guys we got making the skirts, they listen to what we have to say. And they'll put a little bit more red in or take out some blue. I like the silverish tone to it.
Yes.
With the accents of the red and blue. I mean, it's really, to me, that gives it the perfect blend.
Of
is
everything.
what I'm looking at.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So, price? Do you have your price?
Yep. We're looking at $21.99 for a complete lure.
Okay. So
that's the bait itself with either a spinner blade attachment or a double inline.
With your color or size blade of choice, whatever's on the wall.
Yep, that is correct.
Deal.
I'm not. Same thing with guiding. I mean, I had this discussion with several guides back in the day. I'm still friends with a couple of them that fish up north on the Chippewa flowage. You're charging $450, $475, or even $500 for a full day of guiding. I could never do that. Some people do, and there's nothing wrong with it. You can make that money. That's great. Me, myself, my personal conviction on it is I just can't do that.
Well, what's your guide prices?
I
don't even know those.
What's that?
What are your prices for?
Mine are $300 for a full day, and I usually give extra time.
Okay.
If we're having a bad day, it's like, no, come on, let's get a fish. Or you're having a really good day. You got father and son or father and daughter out there.
Yeah.
Husband and wife. You know what? I'm not going anywhere. Let's just stay. I'm not worried about it. Let's have some fun and see what we can do here.
That's cool.
Half day is $175, and I do the same thing. Normally it's 5 or 6 hours, and we just have a blast.
That's really cool.
I enjoy it. It's never been a job to me. There are times I get burnt out, but it's never been a job, and I don't want it to become that. But I try to make it so that my clients get their money's worth. The information that I share, I'm an open book. Whatever you want to know.
Yes.
I'll show you where we're fishing. This is why we're here. Look at this on the screen. We'll go through the lure selection that I'm picking for that stuff and explain why. Like the walleye. The walleye color scheme this year out of Pewaukee has been great. Black has been great. It's you learn that stuff, but a lot of people don't know that either. They're coming out there as well. They got their greens or their oranges. Yeah, that stuff works really good. But you know what? This is what's been working. This is what we've been seeing a ton of fish on. And if you're only coming out for 4 or 5 hours, I'm telling you, fish with the walleye color or fish with black.
Yeah. One
or the other. We were talking earlier today about new lures and different ideas and stuff. And
yeah.
Well, one of the things that actually has been a really nice bait in my boat this year is a suic type lure. It's called a Wade's Wobbler. The guys from Minnesota. All it is a piece of wood, and it's got an angled cut face.
Okay.
And it works really well. It's kind of it wobbles a lot, side to side. It's only like an inch wide and an inch deep. I think the ones I got are 6. I think they're 6 inches. But man, I mean, you can do long rips, you can do short rips, you can twitch the thing really nice.
Do you have a website where we can go check these out at?
I don't. I've never looked them up. I actually bought. I think I bought 6 of them at the Minnesota show this past year because we got a really good deal on the stuff, and I was looking for something different.
Mm-hmm.
And we've caught fish on them. There's guys up in Minnesota that swear by them. And when it comes up, you know how a suic kind of rises to the rear, it goes up a little backwards.
Yeah.
This thing actually shoots up backwards. So it's like not just moving up slowly into a fish's face; it's like smacking it in the face if it's right on the butt end.
So
of the
it's
lure.
like it could be a reaction. It could be a reaction bite while pulling it and while it's actually kicking back up.
Yep, that is correct. Very nice lures.
Wade's Wobbler.
Very nice lures. Wade's Wobblers.
Okay. I'm going to have to do some research on
That
that.
is what it is.
If you ever find them before I do, let me know what they are, where they're at.
Okay. You know what? I'll try to look them up. Because I haven't seen them in Wisconsin yet. That was the only show that I actually saw them at. And I think he was in Reed's booth, and he had a little corner rack that they put him out on. And I want to say, I think we got them. I think they were priced at like $20 a piece, and I think we paid like 15 for them.
So it could just be a little
they were doing
basement builder, local basement builder.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, and that's the stuff I'm talking about. I mean, you find something that's just, it turns out to be a gem. You know, and it's not a huge thing that you got to go to a big show to see all the normal stuff. You know, so search the stuff out with the different kinds of baits that are really out there. You know, and again, I mean, it's got the Suic idea to it,
but just
which
a little different.
There's a whole lot of baits out there. It's just different.
Huh.
It's totally different. You know, you like glide baits. You got the Hellhounds and the
Phantoms.
The Phantoms, the Warlocks. All three of them are different.
They are.
So it's again what you feel confident and you feel cool working. You know, easy. I look for ease of use.
See, I have so much confidence in the Phantom, as my top, but it's kind of a weird confidence that I have in the Warlock. Where I mean, I finally just purchased one over the Expo season, and I have confidence in it, but I don't know why. And I've never got a follow. I've never got a hit. I've never got a fish on the thing. It just looks like this has to work. But it is completely different.
It is, and that's, and again, I mean, that's all stuff like you were talking about Phantoms. I can't work a Phantom for anything, but I can work a Warlock really good.
Yes.
The Hellhound is even easier than that, and that's, you know, kind of when I got clients throwing glide baits, it's either a Warlock or a Hellhound, depending on their capabilities.
Yeah, I still think they're the easiest glide baits to work. I mean, you can reel them in and they dart side to side. Yep.
Yeah, they're really nice baits.
I like them.
You know, what else were we talking about? The trilogies.
Yep.
I've had them for a couple weeks. They got me 3 of them because we were getting ready to bring them into the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I wanted to try them, see what they were like, and you know what? They're like a pinwheel. You hold them if there's a breeze, you hold them up, they start turning. Very easy to use. I've had clients already. We actually got a monster bass on one of them.
Really?
And missed a really nice muskie on one. I think who was it? I know there was a guy yesterday morning. Jamie Abel got a 50 and a half muskie on it.
Yep.
You know, it's, you know, great baits. You know, there's not a lot of stuff out there. Some of the stuff is, you know, from years and years and years and years ago stuff that were similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an awesome bait, and if you've seen Scott's Bite Back Bait Company's bucktails, you know how anal they are about being perfect. And they work really well. They run well. I've got no complaints about them. You know, they're in the shop now, and you know, we almost sold out the first day.
Oh, you did?
Which was, we've got that. I want to say we probably got, I want to say 12 or 13 baits left on the shelf.
How big was the
but
first
I had to
order?
bring the stock back from and back. I had to actually, before I left Sunday night.
Oh, really?
I had to bring the stuff from out and back to restock it right away.
That's a great first day.
Yeah, I mean, we were right away. As soon as I put it out on Facebook, we had a call from Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah?
Guy ordered 10 baits right there.
What was that? Grabowski? Jacob Grabowski?
Nope, that is not the name.
No. I know he lives out there in North Dakota. Forgot what town.
Yeah, beautiful baits. I know that I believe their bucktails actually caught 2 fish in a tournament last year up north.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, they'd be nice people. You know, they got a great thing going.
And they're local.
I think it's an awesome bait. And
I mean, that's the lake he fishes. You know, it's local. It's like, hey, here's my
Yep.
bait on the lake that I, like you said, grew up fishing on. That's freaking sweet.
yeah, I mean, what a dream come true, hey?
Right.
To actually be in a bait shop and have your bait there. And Scott's an awesome guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had a chance to sit and talk with him and get to know him a little bit. And you know, he's really down to earth. He cares about his product. It's obvious in how he makes the stuff, and he's surrounded by a really good group of guys that care about the bait and want to be a part of it, and that's awesome. I mean, I think like Kirby and Rick and Jackson, Jamie especially with doing the blades for him and stuff. I mean, he's got a good team there, and they got a good thing that they're getting off the ground right here and actually moving some product, which is good. Mm-hmm. And you know, he wants to be in shops like us. You know, he's not looking at big box stores or anything like that. It's
you know, he's
got his head on right. And for a bait maker like that, just starting out, that's a really good start.
It is, and that's such a huge jump for big box stores. I mean, that's unthinkable. I mean, realistically, for a one-man. Oh boy!
You got the possibility of
you broke up there. You broke up there, Joel.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay. You know, a lot of times what happens there is you get to a big a bait box store, and you might not have the stock to fill everybody else. And you know, when you're in the mom and pop shop, you know, they're kind of dependent on that.
They are. 100%.
It's hard to go for periods of time without, you know, product on the pegs, and I mean you're losing money with empty space. And you know, these guys are ready. You know, they got this, you know, sitting there. They get it together right away. They fill the order, and being local. I mean, again with Todd and Adam, I mean, they're awesome about filling the pegs.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I need you to, you know, drive down here and fill up the pegs right quick. Okay. It's not like, all right, well, I'll ship them tomorrow, and then we'll wait a few days. And no, it's like, tonight, I need you. We got, you know, league tonight or an outing tonight. I need you guys down here tonight.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, and that's really cool. I mean, there's I think 6 or 7 baits in Smokies right now that are local guys. Mm-hmm. That have quality product that people like and people buy, and that's really cool how they take care of their stuff. You know, they're there and they're filling the racks because they know how important it is to us,
and how important it is for them.
Actually have the stock. And
to be honest, like if I finally get, you know, a bait that I've been making on in the bait store that I've been fishing on this lake for, you know, since my childhood or whatever, like. You're going to take pride in it, and you're going to want to continue to see it. You know, so it goes both ways, and it's just awesome.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I'm happy for it. You know, like I said, everything's cool, and you know, there's a lot of fishing left out on Pewaukee. I think I think the end of this year is going to be absolutely lights out with big fish getting caught.
It's only mid-July.
I believe I think there's 450s that have been caught, but most of the reports are there's been 350s caught on Pewaukee already this year.
And that's great. That is awesome news.
It is. And you know, you're starting to see them, and you're seeing the big fish. You're able to actually raise them, which hasn't been the case for the last couple of years.
That's so awesome.
So, you know, you're pushing 50 the last couple of years. That's a big fish for those years. You know, now you got some people breaking 50, and that's great for the notoriety of the lake and bringing people out there for the community, the money coming in and people coming up and actually fishing it. You know, Milwaukee's a great lake to fish. Absolutely awesome for all species. You know, northern have come back out there. Some big northern out there now.
I've seen some pictures this year of some big northerns getting caught out there.
Yep, and that's without hurting the musky fishery. That's an incredible thing. to actually have all those species and have it be sustainable for all of them.
5 pound bass,
That's awesome.
50-inch muskies. You know, in a couple of years we'll be pushing 30-inch walleyes.
Yeah, we will be.
I mean, the way that Mike was talking, you know, a few more years we'll get there. And then, oh darn, if you don't, then just go to LaBelle.
Yeah, that too. There's some big fish out there too, musky and walleye.
There is. But Joel, it's been our hour.
Yep. All right, sir.
Honestly can't believe it's been an hour because
I know.
It kind of just flew by.
I could do this all night.
I really could. I knew it would be a fun one tonight. So guys, Joel, Dave Legacies, his contact information's up there. Remember what he said about his guide trips and everything. If you want to have fun at a very good price on a very good lake and to see it to its full potential, like, not going out there with me, definitely give Joel a call. Smokey's Musky Shop, all that stuff. Thank you, Joel. But before you leave,
thank you, Colin.
Have anything?
You bet. We'll talk soon.
Hold on, buddy. Any funny boat launch stories yet? Any funny ones at Smokey's? Recently? If not, I can give you a pass.
No. I always got boat launch stories.
There we go.
Most recent one, guy and his girlfriend come out.
Okay.
They got a 16-foot Alumacraft-ish type boat with a steering wheel.
Okay.
And like a 25 horse or 30 horse on the back end.
Okay.
Girl comes in to pay. They've never before, so they can't figure out paying for launch and paying for parking, the difference.
Yeah.
So we get that taken care of. She goes out. She's on our dock holding on to the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to back up his boat and drops it in the water and proceeds to speed out and still had the strap on the front of the boat. Starts peeling off strap, and when he stopped, and she's still hanging onto the rope, the boat is on the back of the trailer, still strapped, almost straight up and down in the air.
What?
And he couldn't figure out how to get it. The motor was on the ramp, down underneath. It was pinned. It was just staying there because it was still strapped. If it wasn't strapped and the strap came loose anymore, or if it snapped, it would have fell over backwards, upside down into the water. So that was a real trick, trying to get that thing down right.
Holy shit!
People holding on to the strap, and him pulling forward really slow, and then lowering the front of the boat down onto the trailer, and pushing down on it, and then holding it there while he started to back it back up into the water.
Did it mess up the parking lot at all, or the ramp?
No, not at all. The back of his motor was pretty scratched up. The prop was one of the blades was bent a little bit, but
did they still go out and fish?
They still went out and fished.
Good. Wow. So.
Yep.
So does that mean you gotta put like a new thing on the board? Like
we did.
What do you name it?
It's still called Still Strap.
Oh, I think that deserves a
little
bit more.
Trying to launch it Still Strap. Yeah, I know.
I think
the guy with the boat plugs is still the best.
Yeah.
One guy, same day,
yep,
two boat plugs.
That's an unforgettable
Flew
day.
back in with the first one, got the plug back in, drained it. Second one, he actually had half the boat filled with water by the time he got back in.
Oh, and then he hit that parked car too. Yeah.
Yeah. There was that one too.
No, that was the same guy.
Was it?
Yeah, at Mistake on a Lake, he drowned both boats, and
when
he finally
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Unbelievable.
Oh boy.
Yeah, some people are just insane. There ought to be a law. If you buy a boat, or even if you come to rent one of our boats, you should have at least taken a boater safety course to be able to do any of that. Because there are some really, really dumb people out there.
There are.
And when they come out with oh, hey, let's go out for, the second time this year, and it's already 6 months into the season, and you haven't started the boat, or, you don't know any of this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of times it's just flat out unsafe.
And it's
just unsafe.
And it's like 2:00 on a Saturday, and you're at like the West End launch, or it's, yeah.
But we get the people that think that they have a big set, but they really don't, so they can't handle the West End, so they come by us.
Oh.
And they act like they have a big set, and then they do stuff like that. And all I can do is just sit back, crack a beer, and laugh.
What do you film with your stuff with GoPros or like a handheld?
Yep. Yeah, I got 2 GoPros that I Rick Walter at the shop helped me build an electrical box in the middle of my boat that I hook up to an actual marine battery, and I run a 72-inch telescopic light pole that I rewired for the GoPros to keep them going continuously.
Now,
so you don't have to keep switching out batteries.
Okay.
And I just let the cameras run. I got them, like I said, it's probably about 2.5 feet above everybody's heads.
Yeah.
And then angled down so you can see everything at the side of the boat that's going on, and out probably 15 feet.
Is it easily removable from your boat?
Oh yeah, it's just a light pole.
Well,
it's basically what it is.
Can you like set that up on Smokies? Can we get some footage?
Sure.
Like
I can do that when I'm there on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I have my boat after guiding in the morning. I'll just let the camera run and
just do it.
Beam them right at the launch.
And then just send me the video and I'll edit for you right quick, and then we'll have funnies. We'll have
Good deal.
Smoky funnies.
I will do that.
We can blur out the license plate and everything. Yeah. I like it.
That sounds like a plan, Colin.
All right, Joel. We'll keep in touch.
All right.
We'll be in touch.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You got a great show, and I hope more and more people are listening. We've been trying to get it out there for you.
It's been. So now I need some of those smaller bait makers to come on. I really want to start targeting those people. So
good. Dan Kane. Get Dan Kane on it.
Oh, I know. He's a busy man.
He's
a busy man in the summer.
Yeah.
He said so. One of these days.
Well. All right.
I know, but
good deal, brother. You take care.
Have a good one, Joel, and thanks again for coming on, bud.
Oh, you bet. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
All right, guys. Musky Talk Monday, episode 10, done. All right. It kind of just looks like I might need to go on Pewaukee more and more. I have a love-hate relationship with that lake, but whatever. So, Smokey's Musky Shop, go check out the dragons there. Go check out the new trilogy, Bite Back Bait Company. We had Scott on last week. I do not believe they have a website, so find out their number and call. I believe they are willing to ship. Other than that, I believe... Oh, first off, I'm sorry about the whole iCast thing. It got totally mixed up due to my fault. Joe's, I believe he's actually on Vermilion right now. So we'll have Joe back on. Not back on. We'll have him on shortly. Okay. I believe for next week we have Brian Klein and I forgot who else. Damn it. Oh well. It'll be posted up sooner because I actually know the set list already for that day. So thank you guys for tuning in, and again, please, you know someone that you want to see on the show, please send me a PM to Musky Magnets or myself, Colin Pluta. If it's yourself or if you know someone and they don't feel like asking, tell me to message them and I'll do so. Always looking for guests, always looking for anyone to do with anything in the musky world. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a good night.